to have options and to make decisions. Guide us so that we use wisdom as we vote on issues that are important to many people in the parish. Let us be unbiased. Thank you for giving us the wonderful resources that we have in East Feliciana Parish. Let us use them wisely. Thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Face the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I give just a tidbit? My grandson was coming in, big as Montana, leaving the kid grade. And you know what they do out there? They say pledge allegiance to the flag.
Yay.
Yay. I say yay.
Okay. We can take a roll call.
Mr. Michael Cheatham.
Here.
Mr. Kyle Flanagan.
Here.
Mr. Chris Hall.
Here.
Mr. Ronald Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Jason McCray.
Here.
Mr. Keith Mills. Mr. Richard Olivo.
Here.
Dr. Christy Oakland.
Here.
President Louis Kent.
Okay, we need to approve the agenda with one addition, and that's to adopt minutes from the July 3rd, 2023 public hearing. I need a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? So let's start with old business to adopt the minutes from the July 3rd, 2023 public hearing.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? More old business. Number one, adopt minutes from the July 3rd, 2023 regular meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? New business. Notice to consider adoption of a resolution ordering and calling an election to authorize renewal of sales and use taxes and the renewal of an ad valorem tax therein. Denisha, do you have some information?
Notice is hereby given that at its meeting to be held on Monday, August 21st, 2023 at 6 p.m. at its regular meeting place, the East Feliciana Police Jury Meeting Room at 12064 Marston Street, Clinton, Louisiana. The Police Jury of the Parish of East Feliciana, State of Louisiana, plans to consider adopting a resolution ordering and calling an election to be held in the Parish of East Feliciana, State of Louisiana, to authorize the renewal of sales and use taxes and the renewal of an ad valorem tax therein.
Do you have a motion to approve the announcement of the public meeting?
Second.
All in favor? Need to approve the engagement letter with Codler, Slavin and Company, LLC, for 2023 financial and compliance and agreed upon procedures audit. Robert Carter, CPA, CGMA.
Second.
All in favor? Take action on proposed ordinance to ban sale of kratom in East Feliciana Parish.
After what we just heard, I'd like a substitute motion to get more information, or we put X.
Can we have a substitute motion on that?
You don't have a motion, that is with me a motion.
Yeah.
I want to hear from my drug counsel.
The only thing I have to say is, I'm happy that it's helped these guys, I really am. But there is that root. We don't need this in this parish. We simply don't need it. The gentleman with the vape shop, he's got a personal interest in it. He sells it in his shop. I'm not saying Top Cop doesn't have a personal interest, but this guy goes around the country and talks about the dangers of crack. And it has been designated as the gas station health because of the effects that it has. So I'm happy that it works for them. I just don't think it's something we need to be serious about.
Well, I know the guy said, don't Google it, but I did.
Yeah.
And, the FDA warnings are, it's addiction. It's a whole list, I mean, it's a whole list.
I mean, I've got the literature here, and everything that we've ever learned or looked up about kratom, it ranges psychotic symptoms, nausea, seizure, anorexia, insomnia, and the list goes on and on and on.
Well, this, on the FDA, it says hallucinations, delusion,
Right.
confusion, it's a whole list of stuff.
Yeah,
Oh.
so,
And I mean, look, I think we listen to you guys, because y'all are on the drug council of the parish, but I understand what this, I haven't done it, so I don't know what it does. I mean,
well,
that's
and
just
I mean,
on
it's
there.
alive.
Yeah.
But the experts tell us what it has done and what it can do. And that is one of the reasons why we want to ban it, when we realized that it was being sold in our parish. That is, you know, the major reason we wanted to ban it.
I've listened to them, and I've listened to you, and I believe in you. It's just what touches me. Most people don't want to tell you the truth, but I had a child who was opioid addicted. And what he's talking about over here, they've left, getting those 140 tabs and all that stuff, and getting your life clean. Mine's clean. Took a lot of cash to get her clean. But she wanted to get clean. Those people won't be clean. So if it's just a ray of hope to help somebody, I mean, I just tell you, that's how I feel about it now. The other part of it is you got all the stuff right there, so it's all, you know, it's just all in what you believe.
And I understand, this is not gonna solve the problem, but I feel like we have to start someplace. And this is just as good a place to start.
I think what's going on is the Drug Council of East Feliciana is looking at this drug, reading what the FDA says, what the side effects are, and a 10-year-old kid can walk in a store and buy it. And I think this might be a gateway to start something that potentially wouldn't be there later in life. Without the fact saying that I'm sure it does help some people. I mean, we have advocates running around the world that want to legalize pot.
Right.
So I get it, I
Just
understand.
about there.
I understand. Yeah,
So,
so I understand exactly why this was brought before us with the drug council, and I'm sure it does help some people. No doubt, I'm not gonna argue that, no more than you are. But the fact of the matter is that my 17-year-old daughter and my 15-year-old son have no business with that. So my motion is to move forward with the drug council's recommendation and ban kratom.
Do we have any other public comment?
And let the jury know that not a single person from East Feliciana Parish knows this.
yeah, I have a comment. I've heard from some of the citizens in Feliciana Parish. And we've explained to them about this, and they don't want it in this parish. And those people are from Baton Rouge. If they want it down there, let them have it down there. And anybody up here want it, let them go down there and get it. But we don't need this here in this parish, so we need to take care of our people in this parish.
Okay, can we have the motion again, please?
To sell the ban, to ban the sale of kratom in East Feliciana Parish.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that, you know.
All
kinda
opposed?
But I'm, you know, I had to tell you my testimony.
No, and I feel the same way.
You know, because when my child was 14 and my child was 17, you know, that couldn't happen to me. By golly,
And I think that's,
Till it does, you don't know that feeling.
and I think that's what our drug council's trying to do, is stop younger children from experimenting before they get to that level. And this is just one stepping stone.
Ms. Shanisha, would you read the motion again?
Yes, motion by Mr. Chris Hall, second by Mr. Richard Oliver.
To ban. That's what I was talking about, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It would be to ban the sale of Franklin in East Feliciana, but we need to adopt the order.
Well, yeah, and I guess the resolution that we have, or the ordinance.
We'll take care of it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll retract my motion and replace it with, I make the motion to adopt the ordinance to ban the sale of Franklin as it's written.
And I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Number 4, discuss, take action on amendment to MOU with East Feliciana Drug Council to provide office space and accommodations at the health unit. Ms. Torrance.
It's basically the same MOU that I presented, I think back in April.
Yes. Same one I presented back in April. I did make a change to it, and I removed the ask for the office space upon the retirement of Susan Hayes. If it comes to the point that she does retire, I'll come back at that point and ask if we can acquire that space as well. But I did make an amendment to it, removing that space.
So you're asking for what you have minus the space?
I'm asking for the 3 conference rooms or the 3 exam rooms that we currently have. As you walk in the front door, it's the first office to the right, and further down the hall on the right, it's the kitchen. As you go into the back of the health unit, the space that was occupied by Feliciana Addiction Disorder, I think was the name, there are 3 office spaces there, along with the conference room that we currently occupy. And then the smaller conference room, we swapped out with the coroner's office and took that room over.
So everybody is in agreement with the change?
I believe we are. We are.
What
And the
about
nurses
the ladies?
also?
What about the
Yes.
ladies in the health unit? They do?
What about,
The ladies, the health unit ladies, they do?
yes,
Yes, so Ms. Rhonda and I, spoke,
right.
and she did make some changes. There were some concerns that I had. We made the change. I want to ask about this. Everything is what you're already using right now.
Correct.
So when you first walk in, none of those,
As you walk in on our side, the first office on your right is our secretary.
yeah, but not the front, the main entrance.
No,
Okay,
no.
well, yes.
But when you walk through the front door of the health unit, no, we don't use any of that.
That's everything she's already occupying with the switch between.
The coroner's office and our office.
All right, so, we have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Number 5, request variance to live in RV for 6 to 12 months. I'm sorry, I should have asked on number 4, is there any public discussion? Thank you. Okay. Request variance to live in RV for 6 to 12 months at 5933 Line Road, Jason Parker.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, I'm here to ask permission to live in RV. Property, probably a little home we moved there, but needing a little bit more time after buying the property.
Is the mic on?
Yes, ma'am. The green light is, I might be a little too tall.
Too tall.
So moved.
Think that we're gonna give them a year,
Yeah,
give them 1 year, 12 months.
I agree. Thank you.
Any public discussion? Any opposed? Or all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Discuss repairs to Midway Road, Mr. Oliver.
Okay. Now, I had spoken to President Kent, and he says he had already talked to Ms. Quinn about this. I hate to bring this today, like I'm going before. Is anybody here from Midway Road? Okay. You know, I'm gonna say that this is a safety hazard because school's fixing to start. Now, you get along with it now, but when it goes back to raining again, you know, it's gonna be bad. So it's done been bad, and, you know, so we're waiting on asphalt that we're not getting. So we might as well let everybody know, we're not getting asphalt. So I'm asking that if Ms. Quinn's gonna do it, or she's already got it on her books, to grind it up and not spend a lot of money grinding, put a little limestone on top of it before these buses start rolling, because it is a safety hazard. And, I'll turn it over to anybody from Midway Road who wants to talk.
Well, we got two bad spots in there.
We got 13.
Well, you got two real bad ones, and, you know,
But we already measured and before y'all, you know, we were gonna do over there, couldn't do it, so now we're back to patching all those bad spots.
Are we gonna, some parts of it we gonna zip?
Yeah,
Two?
all of them.
Okay.
They kind of long.
you want to speak, sir?
No, I was, you're the similar one, I got that.
Oh, okay.
Can I speak to it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm not on Midway, but I pass down Midway back and forth to Slaughter, back and forth to Zachary. I've lived in this area for over 12 years. When I moved here, Greenbrier was pretty poor, and it was overlaid, and it's done real well, except when the timber haulers started hauling, and we never did fix it back properly. But then we have the same problem with Midway, and it seems like the problem just gets worse and gets bigger every time. It doesn't get any better, and it's really poor now. When you, I agree, we need to cut it out and put something on top to get by right now, but all these bad, I mean, when they did the survey down there, I'm sure, I saw it. It had an orange, it said it's 180 feet and it's 12 feet wide or whatever. I saw that and they gave everybody hope that it might be gonna be fixed. Just these spots, there was, I think, 13 spots? Okay, I don't want to use that. But anyway, it was a hope that I think that the people on Midway, and not just there, but where I live on Flat Lane and the rest of Greenbrier, that's a traffic corridor in there. And the thing is, it takes 5 or 10 minutes longer to go 955 to go down there. And what is 955 doing? It's falling apart as well. So somebody needs to take this by the chin and work with it. Now, let's get this thing going and do something with that, because eventually it's just gonna get worse and worse. I mean, it's pretty big now. And if we don't attack the under part of where the problem is, all we're gonna do is put asphalt on it, blow money, and it not be fixed. So somebody needs to take this bull by the horns and do it. All this CPR work that we're doing out here on these roads, by CPR, you know what CPR is? You know what a cow pile is? We're making cow pile repairs. Over the last 2 years, it's gotten better because they started smoothing it off. It's not just this big hump in the road. I have a car that I just drove here in, it's a 2001 Honda. I'm 75 years old. I'm trying to get that thing stretched out. I've got a 3/4 ton truck that's 15 years old. All it does is beat them up. So, please, do something. Even if it's minor right now, do something. So, that's all I got to say.
Thank you, sir, that's what we're trying to get done.
Thank you. That item was on for discussion, and so we're going to move to our next item. Number 7, discuss installing a gate to stop dumping on Simmons Lane. Mr. Oliver.
Mr. Ted Johnson's here, he owns the property back there, they're dumping, he wants to put a gate up, give as many keys as he needs to give to the parish, so people quit dumping. And if you don't know where Simmons Lane is, it's the extreme far as you can go in this parish, as far as the river.
It's not only, how y'all doing first? It's not only just the dumping on there, I'm getting some, traffic. I invest in, cleaning the place up, and I've got that bush hog and what have you, and some activities be trying to get started. I guess when they notice me up there, then they turns around and spin off or what have you. When I comes up there, I'm finding dumping stuff, evidence for people that have been, and it's cut down since, I had it cleared up, cleared off and stuff. But there's only one other person in there that, lives in that lane besides, me on the property, what have you. And that's why I want to put the gate to try to displace this, activities, what have you. The sheriff do come up there sometime, and I've seen them up there, well, my son seen them up there, and they had some people talking to him, what happened, he didn't go over there, back in that seat. But the gate will help, because this is the only secluded lane left up in that particular area. So it will deter, the drug traffickers and stuff.
Mr. Johnson, is that a road that we maintain?
Yes, it
Ms.
is.
Lynn?
It's a
So
road.
haven't we previously denied letting somebody put a gate on?
That would gladly, and then take a good thing.
But, that's the reason, I don't mind, giving, the parish people, the key, the other property owner, a key, but this trafficking, would have to be stopped. Because, sometimes I drive up there and drive up, in on them, and so, that's gonna be kind of dangerous.
Our DA is here tonight. Can we do that?
Once you put a gate up, you might as well just go ahead and abandon that road, because once you put the gate up and you don't use that road, the road's gonna be abandoned after 10 years. It might be better if you just wanna look at the road, look at the lane, and go ahead and move to abandon it, so y'all don't have to maintain it. That's what I would recommend.
The problem came up before, because we've had this happen once or twice. Somewhere it was illegal for you to put a gate up across the public road, a road that's being maintained by the parish.
Correct.
That happened in my district about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, and we did that, and we had a couple of meetings about that, about 4 or 5 years before that. Somebody put a gate up, and then the parish lost that road. I can't remember what road that was up by Norwood. But the one that you're talking about, Mr. McRae, that same thing happened there.
Yeah, that was on Lace Haynes Road.
So when you put the gate up, you're actually stopping the public traffic on that road. So
Well,
sooner or later, they can abandon, it's just
well,
better to
I
abandon
know
the
like,
road.
the public, but there's really nowhere for them to go, because it's, once you pass Simmons Lane, you run into a family's other property, and it's dead end. There's nothing up there for them, other than the peoples that own it, that, we probably been able to develop, the family people put some houses in there. But right now, if the gate doesn't, be able to put up, I would need a police, patrol up around that way.
And I understand that, and the best thing the parish can do is look at it and just abandon that road. Say, this is our road, we don't want it anymore, you advertise it in the newspaper, you let everybody know that you're gonna abandon that road, and just abandon it. You don't have to maintain it anymore. The landowners on each side go to the middle of the road, or whoever owns it at that point.
And you put your gate up there and nobody can do anything about it.
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
Another part of it, before you get to the part I want to put the gate in, I talked to Mr. Ivy about it, is that it has a big pipe cover. I have some pictures of it here. That's, the water runs down it and it's eating the road out. So when I bring my equipment up there, the road is very narrow. Fella here, he's graded the road, and, you have seen it, and I have pictures here of it when it rained. The water's not only washing that cover, the dirt around the cover, but it's also running down that Needles land and cutting that road up. I came up after a big rain, and I took pictures of it, you know, the activity there. I have them here if you want to see them.
Well, I mean, the question for the jury, well, the question for me would be, do you wanna put a gate up and us abandon the road, or do you want us to fix the road?
Well, I want you to fix the part that,
If you put the gate,
the gate is down from that particular.
We either gonna take the whole thing or not?
Now, where he's talking about is kind of like a line. This road goes down, this road goes this way.
It's not gonna.
And his people live back there.
The gate is further down the road where it's secluded from.
But if we abandon the road.
We're gonna abandon the whole thing,
Well,
we're not gonna
You
abandon
can't
just a
pick the
piece
two
of it.
pieces and parts.
Yeah, it's either all or nothing, and if it's all, then we're definitely not gonna vote as a jury to go spend a bunch of money on a road that we're fixing up abandon.
And how many residents are on Simmons?
Not right now.
No one lives on.
They were staying there, but they moved and they put the land up for sale and we purchased it.
So what would happen is the road that's there now, whoever would assume responsibility would be the landowners, y'all would have to upkeep the road yourself. Because at that point, the jury, we won't go back to that road. So you kinda gotta be real careful on asking to abandon a road, because it's a double-edged sword. Because if it gets so bad that your equipment can't take care of it, you can't come safe and y'all come with the motor grader for us, because we won't be allowed to.
Okay, well, could I get a police, patrol around that area?
That's the sheriff's department.
Talk to the sheriff.
You shouldn't have no problem with
And Mr. Johnson, you don't have to make that decision right now, because I know we just presented something to you
Exactly.
you never thought about before. But if you would decide that you want us to abandon, talk to Mr. Olivo, talk to Ms. Shamisha, who's our parish manager,
Okay.
and, you know, we can, because this was just up for discussion tonight also, so you need a little time to think about it.
Yeah,
I
well,
know
I
you
want to
have
talk to the police chief, you know, and, see what he could do.
And also talk to the other landowners back there, because the upkeep of the road will become y'all's responsibility at that time.
We can work to get, camera put up.
to catch the dumpers.
Yeah, we can do that. If somebody's dumping trash back there, we have cameras, we can put up and try it.
Well, that'd be a help too, because most time I, you know, clean it up.
And that's, you know, we can go put it out, and typically, once we put one out, they usually catch in a week or so, it don't take long. And that's the success we've had in the past. And then if it becomes a problem again, just call the Shamisha, and she can send somebody out to put it on.
And also to catch the other stuff too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Committee and staff reports, executive committee, I have nothing. Personnel committee,
I have nothing, ma'am.
finance committee.
I'm waiting. It's not funny. First off, I want to, very first thing I want to start with is telling the jury that I'm sorry. I can only give y'all guys information that I get at the time that I get it. So, with that being said, I'll go. I need to make a motion to approve monthly invoices.
All in favor? Any opposed?
We had a finance committee meeting this past week, and we had several things that are recommendations coming from the committee. The first thing is to approve the quote from Civil Construction for $46,000 to repair Bennett Road Bridge. And that's a motion.
We need to discuss just a second.
Sure.
All right, now, well, the sheet's very explanatory. Now, we need to wait just a little while before we spend this, we done bought the timbers, I know all that stuff's out. And I know those people need their bridge. They've been waiting for 4 years, 5 years, been waiting a while. But, I stayed out of these finances for a long time.
This is a recommendation of the committee. Remember this, the jury can vote any which way they
So
want.
anyway, I just got a concern now about the spending.
Kyle and I had a long discussion on busting the bid up, doing part of it ourselves, letting the company do part to try to save money, and the end result was.
I mean, I'm not saying it's out of line.
No,
I'm just.
I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
Do you have any public comment on it?
And Mr. Allen, what I mentioned was to possibly do the removal ourselves in-house, is what he's referring to.
Yes.
We could probably done it for $8,000.
That's kind of
Yeah, that's
the
what-
end result of our discussion.
That's right.
Okay, so we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? C, recommendation, oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I guess I should have said any questions, and this is kind of, since we're talking about bridge timbers, bridges being fixed. Could Frosty, maybe, when the bridge that was just closed down today is gonna have to be repaired?
Yeah,
Come on up in front, Mr. Frosty.
People can shoot better from up here.
Exactly. We just got a call from DOT, the state inspector, from headquarters. They closed down the timber bridge on Cruise Road today. They called, I want to say maybe about 3:30, and we just.
What is it need?
It needs piles, it needs a cap and stringers. I think the log trucks have been crossing it without anyone knowing it.
We got weight limit signs on that bridge?
Yeah, we just did inspection on it. We just did the inspection on it in June. The state lowered the postal limit sign down to 5 tons, and they just closed it.
So can we repair?
We can repair it. We can repair it.
Can we drive the pilings?
No.
I don't think so. Can we get,
We can get them.
Not to mention,
can we
don't.
get this company to give us a price on driving the pilings since they're gonna be in the parish anyway?
Yes, sir.
We might not have to pay them moving if you move if they're already here.
Did we call West Feliciana when we got rid of George Paul
Yeah, but
before?
that's not gonna help us. This right here, this company already has the equipment, they know how to do it. If West Feliciana came and showed us how to do it one day, that does not mean that we know how to do it the next day. And they are gonna come and inspect these things when we put them in, and if they're not right, we have to pull them out again. That's why,
Wanna go?
yes.
Yeah, cause if they don't do it right and.
It requires a lot of documentation.
Yeah, and I think we would need our engineers to.
Right.
Sign off on it.
Where we done with that?
C is recommendation to allow monthly transfers not to exceed $5,000 from general fund to criminal court fund, and that is the motion. Our bylaws state that the general fund has to fund the criminal court fund, short funded, and they have some, and it looks to be about $5,000 a month, so we would like those to be allowed to be transferred by our treasurer as needed.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor? Opposed? Number D.
Now, this is the one that's fixing to hit home, and everybody knows why it is. Recommendation to transfer $1.425 million from road and bridge to solid waste for payment of debt service balance. That's a motion.
Somebody please elaborate on that.
Okay. As board, we stood last week, and Ms. Jackie, correct me when I missed it. Our solid waste account will not make it to the end of the year. We keep going the way we're going, we're gonna be in the red. We have borrowed 1.925, is that correct?
Yes.
Out of the solid waste account for the first overlay project, and then for the debris cleanup, I think 2 years ago or whatever it was.
Hurricanes.
So if the money that we borrowed from the solid waste account was still there, the solid waste account would be propped up and pretty and perfect. It would be great, but it's not. And we have to have another meeting to see where we're gonna go from here forward, because this is the lowest I've ever seen the solid waste account in 12 years. And I don't know why it's that way.
Well, can somebody please tell me why is it so low and what's eating it up?
The first years ago road overlay project, correct me if I'm wrong, that was before me,
Yes.
borrowed money from solid waste. And it became a debt service, because solid waste is a dedicated fund. Correct me if I say something wrong. With it, the debt service would be $50,000 repaid annually until the debt was paid. Then 2019, I believe it was 2019, more money was borrowed from solid waste and put into road and bridge for debris cleanup. 2 hurricanes came through and you had an ice storm. And all of, a lot of that is gonna be repaid by FEMA, but you're waiting on that FEMA money. You have to front that money first, and then you wait. We're waiting on FEMA. At this point, you're waiting on FEMA to send the check. It's been approved, everything's there, all conditions have been met.
You have 3.25.
3.2 million is what you're waiting on. However, that could be next month, 6 months from now, it could be next year, and you don't know.
Now, whatever happened to
And I think the
having this
question,
debt, having this debt forgiven?
We
We
talked-
have talked about that before.
we talked about that and Sam
Take
sent us
that,
an
same.
email. Sam sent us an email
Cannot
during
be
our
forgiven.
last meeting and said we can't do it.
This is a dedicated account. You took money from a dedicated account. The taxpayers put money in that account. They pay taxes on that, and it goes into that dedicated account. You took money out of there. You can't just forgive it. You need to put the money back in there. It's not like the federal government, you just kind of write it off. The taxpayers pay taxes for that, and you borrowed money. And if they would have asked me a long time ago, I would have said, hey, don't borrow any money from that account, because probably shouldn't have done that. Probably had to go through the bond commission or something like that to borrow money. You can't just take money out of something that's there for a specific purpose and use it for something else. And no, you have to pay it back.
And I think Jason's question is not the fact of why the account, he knows we borrowed money, him and I were sitting here together the whole time this was happening. I think he's asking why aren't the tax bases covering the cost out of that account?
Out of solid waste, you're saying?
Yes.
I mean, it could if it had that money in it, but you've got a lot of solid waste collection just for garbage household has gone up every year for the last 2 or 3 years.
$127,000 a month just for
Right,
household garbage.
just for household
That's not
garbage.
dumpsters and roll-offs and all that.
And that's the conversation I want to have next. Because there was a time that the tax base wasn't enough to cover.
Right.
And now
But
it's
your
not.
tax base hasn't changed. So your revenue hasn't really changed over the years necessarily.
Believe
It's
me,
gone up
Jason,
some, but,
when we walked in this meeting, what was it, last Wednesday?
oh yeah.
Jackie and I both looked at each other when we looked at numbers. Miss Julie, Miss Shamisha, Miss Jackie, and myself were all sitting here with this crazy look on our face, like, what is going on? That's why as soon as the meeting was over, me, Miss Shamisha, Miss Jackie, we sat right here and called you on the phone right then. I didn't know what else to do. I know this, you guys, I'm assuming everybody's running for their seats, except for me. And the jury can vote any way they want, but these are the facts. This is non-sugarcoated. If we move forward with the overall project with the money we have set aside, your solid waste account will be in the red before the year's end. And it's a very good possibility the general fund will be the same way.
I have a question. If y'all borrowed $1,425,000, and when you pay it back, are you gonna pay interest on it to that account that you took it from?
That's not.
So that interest on that $1,425,000 is lost. That could have been sitting in that account and it has made money. Correct?
Is solid waste an interest bearing account?
Yeah.
And what's the interest we make on it?
Is it like 1.5? I think so. It's less than 2%.
I guess, yes, saying that, because when we borrowed the money, we didn't put a stipulation on it that we would pay interest back. Not that I can remember.
No, there was not.
Yes, sir.
What was the total amount that you borrowed from the solid waste?
1.9.
It was, yeah, 1 point, that's the balance as of now.
That's 1 point.
Yeah, we paid back 50,000.
1.9 million.
That's the current balance.
I think it's 1.925.
Yes.
So,
$1 million was borrowed just for storm cleanup, hurricanes,
Yes.
when that happened, because that had to be done.
Yes.
So that was $1 million of it. So the actual original debt was down to 900,000.
and I think we had borrowed, if I remember correctly, it was 2. For the overall.
And we have no way of checking to see how long it'll take before the FEMA money comes in.
I think,
We can't see any kind of
They
update.
don't tell you that. They don't tell you you'll have a check next month of this. It's there, we can see it, it's been approved, all invoices have been sent in. Everything's approved, you're just waiting on them to get to you in line,
Other,
to get the check.
other parishes are also waiting
Correct.
for their money. Nobody has.
Kendall, is that something we can get HCA to work on?
They are.
Yeah, the auditors, we talked with the auditor about it and they said that.
That's
Look,
pretty
because
hard for the
this is the deal, and this is why Jason's asking all these questions. We worked very hard over the past couple of years to save up a couple $1 million to do an overlay. And at just the time he gets the overlay, and it's time to start on it, here I come swooping in, kicking his legs out from under him again, saying we can't do this. So I want everybody to realize, I understand Mr. Jason's frustrations, because I'm there with him. I want to do it as well.
Well, we gotta do something, because we promised the parish and we promised the people that we were gonna fix these roads. And I'm looking into something else right now that we could possibly do, that has been done in some other parishes. And it's like, with a bond issue. And sometimes you get to the point where you don't have any other choice. I mean, our parish has told us to hell and back, these roads are just terrible. And it is what it is. And sooner or later, we're gonna have to do something. 2 or 3 years ago, if we had acted, when we had the money, and we could have done it, and it didn't happen, but look where we're at now. The prices have doubled. So eventually, sometime or another, we will have to make a decision. So that's something that the jury could be thinking about here in the future.
Jason, I'd like to ask that if you're looking into a bond issue, that we look at doing these roads right. Not just a little thin layer of asphalt, but doing them to state standards. And perhaps even add a couple other roads too.
That's just something I want to throw out there for you to kind of be thinking about. And I'll be getting back with you soon.
Item number C is a motion.
Who told you you gotta pay this back right now?
We,
Legislative auditor?
no. We don't have to pay the full amount back right now. But the fact of the matter is that if we pay it back now, we have the cash in the bank to do it. We can pay it back now, and this issue that we've been discussing for 12 years is now gone. This is not an issue anymore. The jury will be financially strong, and to start the new year, they will be financially strong, and that's kind of how again, this jury can vote any which way they want, they can tell me to take my recommendation and throw it in the trash can. That's up to the jury.
So we have a recommendation. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
The next item is recommendation to transfer. That's not right.
Yeah, yes, it is.
It is.
You want me to explain why? Yes, it is. You want me to explain why first?
Oh, okay, I understand now.
You're going-
Okay, but
You're
I'm
reversing
gonna
the path.
I'm gonna do the next two things in one.
Yes.
I'm gonna recommend to transfer $500,000 out of road and bridge to the general fund and out of the general fund into solid waste. And that's a motion.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Next thing is, you know what? I don't even wanna act on that, because it's not the finance committee's position to recommend a overlay, that's for Mr. Jason. That's his committee. Right or wrong?
I mean, it's
We
going
didn't accept bids, so.
You didn't accept bids, you
So there
made,
is, at this point, there is
At this
no
point,
overlay
there is
project
no
right
overlay
now.
project.
So I don't even wanna make that statement. Item G, I want.
yes, they did, they got bids in, but the bids came in, help me out here,
Yeah.
how much higher?
It was over what we had 2.3 dedicated and
Uh-huh.
lowest bid was 3.6 million.
So they,
So you rejected all the bids.
Yeah, if you don't act on it, I think it's
Right.
45
so
days.
do we have to
That's good, man.
do anything? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's a moot
Okay.
point. We don't.
So do we need to table this?
No.
no, you don't have to,
So
do
then-
there's been no action.
Okay.
And
No
then
action.
the last thing is recommendation to postpone advertising for treasurer's position, and that's a motion.
Do you have a second? Any public comment or any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Now, we just did what you call Robert Peter play ball.
No, we already did that. We're paying
Now you're
all
putting it
back
back.
from Robin Peter. So we've already robbed Peter. We did that years ago. So what I want to say before you move on from me again, jurors, our job is to give you the information we have at hand. And the information we had last week was definitely disturbing, and this is the way it ended. But from this day forward, you guys, once y'all start y'all's new term, your jury's gonna be rock solid, but we definitely have to sit down and discuss solid waste and trash collection, because the bills exceed the tax base. That has to be addressed, or in 3 years, we'll be back here again. Same position, solid waste account, no support.
And am I correct, we have a penny tax to solid waste? I thought it was a half penny. Yes, ma'am.
A couple of, last meeting, a meeting before, we've been talking about the trash pickup and how we're charged per household, and a lot of houses have been skipped.
Yep.
And we were being charged for those houses. Has anything,
We have had that conversation, and the parish does not have the manpower to follow these people and count exactly what they have, what they miss. We would love to do it, but we just don't have the manpower to play chase all day.
so we need to
and try
encourage the
keep a
population
record.
of the parish to start calling in to, where we can kind of record numbers.
Yes. Because, we're at 22,000 now, so, yeah, if they skip 100 people, there's a formula to figure out this dollar amount for the 22,000, we can subtract that from their payment. But we just, Lord have mercy, we tried to designate somebody for that. There's no way they can keep up with that much area.
Oh, no, we have a camera in every driveway.
Yeah.
And they do have a camera on every truck, don't forget, they do have a camera. And I've had people call me and say, they didn't get my trash, and their trash wasn't out there, so that's why they didn't get it. So there's a lot of, things that go on. But Ms. Shanisha put a new procedure in place, where they're gonna keep track a little bit better of, if people will just call our office.
That's it. I don't think people are aware that they're charged by the house. If you're skipped and you don't report it, then, you're still paid for that house. And it's more of a communication issue, if anything.
Well, I'm seeing a lot, like if they change the routes. So on mine, they were running this way, and then after a year or two, they decided to run this way. So used to, they used to pick my trash up at noon. So to get up and put it out at 7 o'clock was not an issue, and then they started going backwards, and they would get to my house at 5 o'clock.
Oh, I know.
Well, it's definitely not their fault if I don't have my trash out.
Okay, let's go to number 4, public works and equipment.
I don't have anything.
Really?
Something like that.
Buildings and property committee.
Okay, we met at 3 o'clock. We received the bids for the building on St. Louis Street. We only had one bid, and it was for $170,000. So, taking into consideration, it was leased for 2 years for about $36,000. You add all that up, what's that, 4.2 or whatever. And, it's under the appraisal, but, Mr. DeQuilla has advised us of how to write it up. And I'm sure he'll give Ms. Harris, all that information. And my recommendation is to accept the bid of $170,000.
And if you can just put on the record the price that you paid for it and reflect there was no other bids. And you already said there were no other bids, but just make that
We
part of
paid
the motion.
$125 for it.
Right.
Okay.
And, the one bid is correct.
One bid.
Who submitted the bid? Julie?
Yeah.
Julie DeQuilla.
So that is a motion.
You have a second?
Yes.
I wanted to ask, in your opinion, is less than the appraised value acceptable since this is a public property, public owned property, government owned property?
Yeah, the appraisal value and the fair market value are really two different things. I believe that we have a real estate agent in here that can take it at. It may be appraised at that amount, but you're not going to be able to sell it at that amount. You put it out for bid, you let the public know that you're going to sell it, nobody else has bid on it, and it is a price higher than what you paid for it. So fair market value is kind of what you're looking at when you look at this situation. And as long as you put that on the record, you will be safe on that. Or you can reject the bid and put it up for bid again. I mean, you can do that. It's strictly up to you. You don't have to sell it for that price.
I do have one question. You did all the legwork for us, you did appraisals and all that stuff on that building for us, correct?
Me? Well, I just call me appraiser, yeah.
Who's closing this?
No.
Well, somebody's got to close it.
Probably Big and Ball closed it when y'all bought it.
You're talking about on the sale?
Yeah.
You're talking about who's gonna close the sale?
Somebody's got to close it.
It's whoever the buyer, I can do the paperwork, but I'm not gonna be able to, represent the buyer and do the mortgage and anything like that. So if they mortgage the property, they're gonna get somebody that's gonna do that for them. Rob probably can do that, or somebody else, Powell can do that. But you don't have to sell it. I mean, it's your property. It's appraised for that amount. You can keep it, you can re-advertise it, you can use it, you can do whatever you want to with it.
Will you get rid of?
The buyer pays the closing costs. What I would do if I was you guys is, because she did all the legwork for us, I would use her for a purchase agreement and then get it closed. So for the work she did for us, she gets absolutely nothing at this point.
But you don't have to. You don't have to. I mean,
I would use her for all my work. because you're gonna need a purchase agreement. You're gonna, and I know Sam's office can do that, no doubt about it, but she did a lot of legwork for us.
Did the bid not say it was cash, a cash sale?
Or,
The bid, did it not say it was a cash sale?
no, it just said,
No, that's why I said I did.
We got-
We can't do it as a cash sale?
I mean, we
I mean, the
can, but
finance
it's
or a
still-
cash sale, big
Yeah.
difference.
It's gonna be cash sale anyway, because y'all are gonna just accept the cash, y'all are not
That's
gonna
correct.
finance
Right,
it.
That's
right.
correct.
She has
We're
to
not gonna
finance it,
it.
you know,
But she,
to buy
But I
her.
mean, what you want is you want a purchase agreement, that way if something happens, the finance backs out, we got deposit, it don't go away, that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, she did a lot of legwork for us, I would use her on the backside, because she did all that.
well, I appreciate that, but y'all don't have to do that. I think she's a cash buyer.
Okay, so we haven't voted, did we get a second?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
What are we gonna do with that money?
put it in the bank.
Give it to Mr. Jason before I start.
I believe we already.
Take that, look, $6,000 on the bridge, put it on the bridge. You fix another bridge, put it on that bridge.
I think you already,
You ain't gonna have no trouble spending.
I think it's already dedicated, you know.
It's already spoken for a multi-use facility.
Number 6, administrative matters.
I just have a few things, all of them pretty much with, about the health unit. Narcan, I think we just talked about that, it's, available at the health unit. So, anyone can go by resident, if anyone to get Narcan from the health unit. We still have
Can
COVID.
our officers get it if needed?
No, they can get their own, just like they got theirs. We can't, I mean, I don't see why we should.
No, I'm asking if they have somebody in good there.
Oh, like, if they,
If they run across a situation where they need it, could they go there and use it?
yeah, I don't see why not, but not just to give them,
No, I'm not gonna have to give them to let them pack it around.
Don't they carry it anyway?
they should have their
I
own.
don't know if they do.
Or the
They should,
firefighters? Yeah.
I think, Mr. Bueller said that the sheriff's department only had 3 more doses to last for the rest of the year. You know.
I don't know, I could check with the sheriff's department, but they may have some more, I can't see why it would be so easy for them to get it at the health unit and not.
Ms. Rushon?
If they need Narcan, they're not going to the health unit to get it. It's either now or call them tomorrow.
They can get
Narcan is immediate. You either have it on you or you don't.
But if you know someone, and not saying that's what we won't, but some people are opiate users, or they know. I mean, hey, they can have it on hand. So it's not to say, hey, I mean, I really need it right now, let me go to the health unit and get it, no. That's how they have it. Makes sense?
They gotta get it ahead of time.
Yeah, so they're offering it ahead of time.
Just the thing to Mr. Hall's
Oh.
statement, police can't go to the health unit.
COVID
Get it
tests
when
are,
they need it.
COVID tests are also available at the health unit. And just wanna let you know that the WIC numbers have increased because of the decrease in SNAP benefits. So if you know anyone who needs to sign up for WIC, they can contact the health unit. That's it, that's all I have.
Hey. Harrison?
Nisha said something about WIC benefits, and I spoke to the health unit this morning. Borough Council is gonna be opening up a clothes closet, so when the WIC mothers come to get their milk, they're gonna be offered to shop in our clothes closet, at free at no charge, because we have a relationship with Walmart that all of their uninventoried items, they now will be giving them to us. So just pass that word and let the WIC
under administrative matters, parish manager interview updates, your conflict.
I have a set of bullet points as well as some details about our panel's interviews. We had 7 applicants, 3 did not meet qualifications, 2 declined interviews, and 2 were interviewed. And my 3 bullet points that I have are, we have no recommendation at this time, and we would ask that the advertising for the parish manager position would commence in the month of October for the next upcoming term, possibly as soon as Monday, the 2nd of October. And then also we would ask that executive committee would review and or amend the description of duties, or help with the review and amendment of the description of duties and qualifications for the parish manager. And Ms. Harris, if there's something else that I missed, you're welcome to add it.
I think this is due a comment. We've been keeping this can since really January. Sam said, let's go ahead and advertise. We have these people out, everybody put their application in. Now, here this is July. And so we just kicking it out, starting all over. I just don't understand this, how this can go on as well. And nothing about it. And that's all I gotta say.
Because y'all have 2 people, you narrowed it down to 2, but you're not gonna make a decision on those 2, is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. There's no recommendation from the panel at this time.
To hire either one of those.
Really?
And then the other thing I'd like to say, not to cut you off, is that this was done with employees and the jury. This is not, Kyle is speaking, but it's not coming out of committee from here, which I'm always told that's how.
3 employees were on the panel and 3 jurors were on the panel. Or, yeah, because Matt would be considered an employee.
So can the same ones apply again?
Yeah.
And you won't take them and then do it again?
Any other public comment?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to cut it off, but y'all been dragging this on for too long, don't have a track now. You don't have nobody in the field out there. The situation gets worse by the day. You're spending money, supposed to be working a 40-hour work week. 2 days a week, there's a certain click to work, 2 days over, time and a half. You need to be finding out how much money you're spending on 2 days, the 4 days is not getting done. Then you turn around, a while back, you had a lease, a piece of equipment stuck in the road for a week. It's lease equipment. You call the people, if they cannot fix it, they gave you another one and haul out to the shop. They sat there for a week. Just be glad it wasn't on my road, because you'd have heard every day and every night that damn piece of equipment still sitting there. And there's enough equipment in that yard of it to move that piece of equipment out of that road. But you can hear every lame excuse you want to, but you're not out there, and the people in this parish are getting sick and tired of the BS. Every day, there's not enough leadership in this parish to run this parish.
Thank you. Any other comment?
I have a comment, speaking as parish manager. I would not, we have awesome leadership here. I mean, there are work orders that are put in, there's priorities that we have. Just because we have someone to call in at that moment, like right now, we just found out today, an hour before this meeting, that a bridge is out. Bridges, that's priority to those people that have to go over that bridge, even though it may be priority to someone else to have a piece of equipment moved. So we do work short staffed. We don't have 50, 60 people out on the road. We don't have 10, 8 different crews. So if we have someone working here on the bridge and something comes over here that's more top priority or an emergency, those people are pulled from there to take care of what is top priority. We have to prioritize here. So I don't want anyone in the parish to think that their concerns are not our concerns, but we do have a work order system. We do have many bridges, many roads here in this parish, amongst other things that we have to take care of daily. So we do ask that you support us. If there is something that needs to be done, and you call Jeff, Ms. Wynn, about the garbage, and you see that nothing's getting done, feel free, you can call me. I don't receive many calls here, but when I do, I will take care of it. And I will also say, seeing one of the workers out working is not the same as going through Ms. Wynn's work order system to have something done. That's not their thing. So just for future references or for anyone who thinks that we are not working for the better of the parish and doing our public service duties. Just wanted to let anyone know that.
That wasn't my point. My point
It
was
wasn't.
that the least piece of equipment should have not been for a phone call to get it fixed or removed. That is only the man, a person or whoever's in charge to do that phone call. If you are leasing a piece of equipment, you do not have to work on it. They will come get it. So that takes the burden off you, and you get a machine back to work with. But for a solid week, that machine never moved.
I'm not
So,
sure
and I ain't
what
saying-
you're talking about or what that has. We can talk about it later if you want to discuss it with me or Ms. Wynn.
No, these people need to know what's going on out there. I go down these roads every day. There's a bridge at my house out there that when the metal sign went up, I knew it was gonna be 3 or 4 years, and it does not take but a little approach work to fix it. But
Thank you, Mr. Rushon. We're going to move on.
Okay.
Treasurer report.
Budget to
Oh, it's
actual,
in
the budget to actual comparison.
It's in your
is
binder,
your
sorry.
binder.
But that's not true.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the treasurer.
Homeland Security.
Here.
He's not here. Commissions and boards. Planning and zoning.
Meet next week.
East Feliciana Chamber of Commerce. Public comment, limited to 3 minutes. Mr. Rushon, you'd like to go first?
I'm kind of like my little brother here, but at this point, I don't have anything to lose. You had 2 people up. Either one of them would have been a good parish manager. One of them had 2.5 years of experience already, and you chose not to do it. Could have walked in here the first day and started fixing something. That gaggle of people that meets at Jets every morning and don't go check in at 6:30 and don't get out of Jets till 8 o'clock needs to be fixed.
Right, yeah.
Don't tell me, well, I'm not out there, so I'm only going on what's reported to me. The other thing is, we've got to have something in here that's getting done. We've had a bridge closed for 4 years. You had another one today that got closed, and they need 4 pilings to get it fixed, according to Mr. Frosty. Get those 4 pilings fixed, and then we can do all the rest of the work, because we have the material already, the cap, the stringers, and everything else. Now, it's a big job, but there's a lot of things that need to be done, and you don't know, you need to all be dumped on the middle management, public works directors, and everything else. This office here is supposed to be taking care of a lot of that, and it's not getting done. Y'all all coming up for re-election, and like he so eloquently put, people out there getting pretty pissed off about it. And I can tell you, it's about to hit the news and about to hit the paper, because there's no reason not to pick a parish manager. And the comment I heard was, well, we only have 6 months, and we don't want to disrupt somebody's life for 6 months. Well, let me tell you what, if the person chooses to take the job for 6 months, that's on them. That's not your position to make his decision. And I say his because there's one candidate and there's the other candidate. That's why I'm saying his.
Where are the candidates?
Right there.
Oh,
I know the two people that were interviewed. I was one of them, and my little brother was the other. But 6 months making the turn, we don't want to disrupt anybody's life. It's not your decision. Your decision is to put leadership in this office and get something done.
I'm sorry, Mr. Collins. I don't, what you're saying, I don't believe that came from the panel. And,
That came from me.
okay,
That
well, the
came
panel,
from me.
that didn't
Came in
come.
another meeting.
Okay, well, that didn't come from the panel who actually did the interviews. And you didn't sit in your brother's interview, and he did not sit in your interview. And the reason for our, the who was chosen or not chosen, it had nothing to do with that.
Okay. That's your lie, tell it to me.
Any other public comment? Kristen?
I just want to announce my candidacy. I'm going to run for president's position. He's not figuring all this. I think that having, first set of eyes and then, I want to help my community. I can't sit back and say, oh, this should be fixed, this should be fixed, and not do anything about it. So, I want to announce my candidacy to take Chris's spot.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I just got one more thing, y'all can get dressed in rail car, I want the rail cars, to make good covers, you do away with them good bricks. Throw them in a, dig a big hole, throw them in there, and go with it, 40-something foot long, cross the creek.
Thank you. I need a motion to, Rhonda?
If there's something the drug council can do to assist the police jury with getting the word out to residents regarding calling in if garbage is not picked up, please let us know. We're willing to help if it's,
How much help are you willing to do?
make it
Like
wider.
$50 million.
Making flyers, folding them up, passing them out at election time as people go in the voting polls or whatever. We're willing to do that. Anything y'all come up with to let residents know, they have to call in if their garbage is not picked up. We're willing to be that agency to help y'all.
Thank you. We need a motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor?
Yeah, you're bad.